Do you love Batman?
Do you love Frasier?
Do you love Seinfeld?
Do you love Dr. Seuss?
Do you love James Bond?
Do you love Captain America?
Oh, hell, do you just love everything that's nerd-related?
I know I do.
Well, you should come on over to a Nerd's World podcast and listen to us, Justin and Andrew, talk everything that's nerd.
Yeah, every 2 weeks, we delve into some random topic that we choose at the end of each episode, and we tell you the whole history of it, or as much as we feel the need to write down, our history of it, and our favorite things about it.
So come on over to a Nerd's World,
wherever you listen to podcasts.
Welcome, everyone, to Pod and Gore, your one-stop shop for everything horror. Now here's your hosts, Justin and Brandon. Take it away, boys.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pod and Gore. My name is Justin.
My name is Brandon.
And welcome to the show.
Hello.
I'm so excited to be back with you, the audience, not you.
Yeah,
personally.
I was going to say, like, now that we work together again on a more...
And we just saw a movie together yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, I'm almost sick of you now.
Oh, don't lie.
But thank you, audience, for coming back or joining us for the first time for our Scanners episode.
Scanners. Hello and welcome.
Indeed.
Yeah.
This is our very first listener suggestion movie.
Our first and only as of right now.
Well, sure.
I was hoping somebody would suggest a movie for me so I didn't have to rack my brain and be like, what do I want to do?
Let's just do the one we know that you want to do. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we will.
This one was brought to us by my brother-in-law, actually, Mason, whose birthday is today, as of recording this.
Well, thank you, Mason.
Yeah, and a very happy, as of listening to this, belated birthday.
But as of today,
happy
birthday.
Happy birthday. And thank you very much for suggesting this movie, because I had never seen it.
I hadn't either. I knew it. I've seen it. The cover art is very iconic.
Well, and just the scanner head explosion thing has been done in so many things. I mean, Scrubs and different comedies and horror movies and other things. Like, It's a big deal.
Yeah. It's
and I see why.
Yeah, exactly. It's huge.
Thank you. Oh, you missed the movie.
Oh, I'm getting out of your basement.
That's what you think.
Right.
So without any further ado, let's get into this, because there are some facts to go over before we get into the meat of the movie.
All right, let us know.
It's written and directed by David Cronenberg, who is referenced heavily in Rick and Morty. Starring Jennifer O'Neill, Stephen Lack, Patrick McGowan. There's 2 O's. Anyway, Lawrence Dane.
You could say McGowan, but
kind of McGowan. And of course, the great Michael Ironside.
Yeah, the
Michael Ironside.
A very young Michael Ironside.
Definitely. Still has the cool voice, but
but still
and the creepy
intimidating
eyes.
as shit.
It was released January 14th, 1981, with a box office total of $14.2 million, which for 1981 seems pretty good.
Right.
The budget is estimated in Canadian for reasons.
I'm just kidding.
At $4,100,000.
Really?
What that converts to, I have no damn idea. So there.
Right.
As for plot, scanners are people with unusual telepathic and telekinetic powers. CONSEC, or purveyor of weaponry and security systems, searches out scanners to use them for its own purposes, because they're jerks.
Right.
The film's plot concerns the attempt by Daryl Revick, played by Ironside, a renegade scanner, to wage a war against CONSEC, and another scanner, Cameron Vale, played by Lack, is dispatched by CONSEC to stop Revick, because he's a dickhead.
Yes, he is.
And he's a big old pain in the Ironside.
Oh my God.
Makeup artist Dick Smith, who worked on The Exorcist and Amadeus, provided prosthetics for the climactic scanner duel and the iconic exploding head effect.
Right. Oh, that duel.
Oh, yeah. Well, and we'll get to that duel.
I'm sure we were.
The head explosion scene was the product of trial and error, eventually settling on a plaster skull and a gelatin exterior packed with latex scraps, some wax, and just bits and bobs, and a lot of stringy stuff that we figured would fly through the air a little better.
Are you reading a quote
That
or
is
are
a
you
quote.
reading a description?
That is a quote.
I'm like, what the fuck is bits and bobs?
I didn't ask.
And then when you're like, and stringy stuff, I'm like, that's not a technical description.
No. As well as leftover burgers.
I'm so hungry.
Me too. Another quote. When other explosive techniques failed to give the desired effect, special effects supervisor Gary Zeller told the crew to roll cameras and get inside the trucks with doors and windows closed, and proceeded to lie down behind the dummy and fire a shotgun at the back of the head.
Ooh.
That's nuts.
Jesus.
I mean, that's about as... If you're firing shotguns on set, that's about as down and dirty as you get filmmaking, I think.
Yeah,
Not
and
to
there
mention
was
the bits
a
and
lot
bobs.
of goddamn shotguns in this movie. Everybody had one, it seemed like.
Well, it's the 80s. Who didn't have a shotgun in the 80s? I had one, and I wasn't even born in 81.
Neither was I, surprisingly.
That is surprising.
Almost.
Some fun facts for you. David Cronenberg has called Scanners one of his most difficult films to make, citing an incomplete script when the shooting schedule commenced, as well as a lack of constructed sets. According to Cronenberg, he would spend mornings prior to filming writing scenes.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Which is surprising because the way that the movie went, like, I would never have guessed that there was that kind of issue.
No, I mean, we've seen films much more recently.
More planned out that didn't go as well.
And that went like this that also went terribly wrong. But this is such a complex, interwoven, like there's so much stuff. Almost too much stuff. Mm-hmm. At least for Brandon to keep track of.
Yeah, I had a real hard time.
It was late, the sun was in your eyes.
Like, I started a new job, and, like, I'm just so tired. And I try to watch this movie, and I'm like, huh? I am gonna watch it again though, because it is a good movie.
Yeah.
I just now that I know what's going on in it, it might be easier to follow.
Oh, that's what a scanner is. That makes so much more sense now.
Got that part, you dunce.
Film professor Charles Derry, in his overview of the horror genre, Dark Dream, cited Scanners as, quote, an especially important masterwork, and calling it the Psycho of its day.
Ooh.
And last thing before we get into the movie is that the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films gave the film its Saturn Award in 1981 for Best International Film, and in addition, the Best Makeup Award went to Dick Smith in a tie with Altered States. The film had also been nominated for Best Special Effects.
Nice. Yeah, the practical effects were good.
Yeah.
Like, really good.
Looking much better than many things we see digitally now.
Which is sad but true.
Yeah.
With Ironside, I was looking up to see how many things he had done before this movie.
Mm-hmm.
He has 265 movies in his filmography, so I'm not going through all of that. But it was saying that he started acting in Canadian television and films in 77.
Oh, so he'd only been on the scene for 4
years. And it was saying, and attracted American attention with his role in Scanners in 81, which actually earned him a Best Supporting Actor nomination in the Canadian Genie Awards.
Wow. As Brandon burps into Mike.
I realized how close the mic was to my head, and I'm like trying to turn, I'm trying to like look away, and I was like, there's no way. It's like a car crash. So I'm trying to
just let it happen
out of the way. Well, I don't want.
I appreciate it. I'm sure the listeners at home.
I know, and I'm like,
do too.
Why am I drinking ginger ale while recording? Because it's good. And
as is my Baja Blast.
Ooh, I don't drink as I say. I don't drink a lot of soda. And then here I'm looking over. I'm like, Baja Blast is the Mountain Dew that I will drink.
Heck yeah.
And so that's all you got. You didn't.
That is all I got. I didn't.
It's okay. I'll do the deep dives on my movies, and so
there's really not that much to go into. I mean, I scoured the IMDb, I scoured the Wikipedia,
the Wikipedias.
Yeah, and I mean, there's really not a whole he wanted to make the movie, and at that stage, Cronenberg had developed himself into enough of an entity where it's like, okay, fine, You want to make this? That's almost literally what it says on Wikipedia. Is like, he wanted to make this, and people went, okay, fine.
Yeah, like, here,
go do that you want to do. That's fine.
Kind of Ridley Scott style with Aliens. Like, we see what you're going to do. Go ahead and do it, but we're going to let you do it better. Like,
pretty much.
Well, no, I was just going to joke. It'd be like episode Aliens, 2 hours, Scanners, 37 minutes.
5 seconds.
Right. And so, yeah.
But it is a pretty long movie, and we have quite a bit to dive into there. So
yeah, I have a decent amount of notes, but it being your movie, I'll go off of what you got.
Okay, you will.
Oh, you will.
So it starts off with a very strange-looking man in a trench coat because everyone in the 80s wore trench coats, stealing people's food.
Right. Well, that's true. And, like, I'm going to talk a little bit about what I wrote into leading into that.
Okay.
Because, like, watching the intro to the movie and the way the title sequence went down and all that kind of stuff, like, it was 81, but, like, it felt older.
In a good way?
Yeah, no, it did. Well, I mean, like, you think 81, you think, okay, it was 81, it was in the 80s.
Yeah.
But, like, there's obviously a big difference between early 80s and later 80s.
Right.
And it felt more, I'd say, like, mid to late 70s, sci-fi-ish.
Yeah.
But it felt like it was older than what it was. Like, and it didn't help that the theme music was so unnerving, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Like, it was really tense. That was my favorite thing about this movie, spoiler alert. The fucking, like, just music, the way that it really did elevate everything.
There's a way of...
It induced anxiety. Like, it almost, like, I don't get anxiety. I'm not an anxious person, but, like, it really does kind of be like, that's the best way I would explain it, was like, fuck, man.
Yeah, it's unsettling.
Yeah,
it's like
unsettling.
The Halloween theme where, there's just a certain tone in it. Mm-hmm. And I was listening to an interview with Carpenter recently, and he even talked about that. There's a certain tone in that song that is meant to unsettle you.
Oh, and that's the thing, man. Like, just not to get off on a Carpenter tangent, but God, anything that guy does with a keyboard turns to gold. I swear to God. Like, the other day I was listening to the Halloween 2018 soundtrack trying to get ideas. Nice. So I'm like, if we ever did like a different sounding intro, like what I would want. And I think I might have sent you the clip of it, but it was just what he did with the Allison Chase scene just after the graveyard. Yeah. Where it's like, I'm like, oh my God, that's so good. Mm-hmm. And so,
much in the same vein, this is one of those, I wouldn't necessarily say it's as iconic, obviously, because Halloween is just insane, but there's this certain quality to movie music, even if you go into Elm Street or Friday the 13th. There's just, I don't know, there's something about these older horror movies that have that tinge to their music that sets you on edge in a way that movies today don't have.
Right, and I agree. But leading into what you're talking about, I was like, it's definitely of its time, and the just smoking in malls, like everywhere.
I noticed that everybody's smoking everywhere, and they're okay with that.
And so that's what I was gonna lead into. And the funny thing is like, they said he was homeless, and the way he was dressed and all that kind of stuff, and I was like, I didn't think he looked that disgusting like everybody was saying that he did. I'm like, you should see me when I leave the warehouse. Like, I don't, I look homeless. Like, what are you?
I know my beard's a little grown out right now, and
right,
like, especially in the winter when I'm like all bundled up, I look like a hobo.
You do right now too.
Thank you.
But I didn't think it was like he was that disgusting. Definitely not enough to warrant the attention that he got from it.
Well, and
I know it helped with him being chased by those people.
Sure. But my next note is shit talk a hobo, he'll give you a seizure. That old lady just like completely...
She deserved it.
Oh, I'm
think sorry.
So too.
Like, I'm not sorry. Like, she was rude as hell.
Yeah. It was all in her brain and muttering to her friend, but...
Right,
be nice
and she's like,
hobo.
God, he's disgusting. And I'm like, no, your attitude is, lady. You're fucking lucky I'm not a scanner.
You'd get head exploded.
Right? But yeah, so like that whole thing happens, and it seems like people notice on the tail end of the whole of them scanning. So like he'll sit there and he'll scan, like he'll do he'll be having seizures, he'll be freaking out and everything, but people don't notice that he's doing it until he starts doing like the come down off it, where like he's kind of like, oh, my head.
Yeah,
you know, and
like
then,
the disconnect.
Yeah, and then everyone's like, that's when they catch. It's like, you didn't notice the guy doing fucking weird shit before that.
Well, otherwise it's just a hobo stealing fries. I mean, I see that every time I go to the mall, quite frankly.
Right.
But
well, not our mall anymore. Fucking shut the food court down. I was at the mall the
At least
other...
you're not bitter.
Yeah. Well, no, because I was at the mall not that long ago, and I'm like, fuck, I'm hungry. I went upstairs to Brucci's to get me a cheesesteak.
It's gone?
And it's not even there anymore. And I'm like,
Really?
okay, I thought that was the last. Like, anybody that lives where we live, listen to this, will be like, dude, that's been shut down for about a year and a half. And I'm like, well, I don't go to the mall.
I don't either. When I do, I go to Dairy Queen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Get an orange Julius.
God damn it. Yep. I was gonna say that, but
which I know is not from Dairy Queen, but anyway.
But they kind of merged.
Yeah, I know.
Back onto this.
I love the food court chase scene because when he hangs off the escalator,
that was gonna be my next point.
What kid did not always want to do that? Like, I came so close so many times to hanging off of an escalator just to see what would happen, but I was always too afraid the track would break off and I would die. Now I know.
Well, that
via
was
scanners.
that was back in a time where parents put the fear of escalators in you.
Yeah.
They're like, don't play on an escalator because your leg could get sucked into it.
Even when he fell, like he got tranked or whatever, and he was laying on it, I was like, oh my God, he's going to get injured by the claw thing. I didn't even think about that, but yes, our mothers ingrained us so much with you will die in an escalator.
Or like if you're not careful, your shoelaces will get caught.
And it'll suck you in.
Pants, and it'll chew up your leg. And so like even up until like...
last week?
Yeah. Well, we don't have a lot of escalator. Well, we have an escalator leading up to an empty food court now.
Yeah. There's one.
But like for the longest time, like I would always like nervously watch when I got towards the top.
Me too.
And then I would hop off the escalator.
Yeah, I do too.
Do you really?
Yeah, I still do. And I never really put a lot of, Freudian thought into it, but it is one of those ingrained like, oh, don't touch that, it's bad.
Right. Yeah, it's really weird how parents can do that to you. Can't wait to see how my daughter grows up. Fucking therapy and
renegade.
But yeah, that whole escalator scene was hilarious. And then, you find out that there are scanner hunters or
something they're about.
Something along those lines where it's like, I put down scanner hunters because I didn't quite get the concept.
I was just gonna let you keep going. It's fine.
But you know what I mean. Like I wasn't quite like, as we'll talk about, and I wrote down in my notes like I made sure to note
that you were tired.
No, that I'm like I'm doing my best here. Like I had no idea, but yeah, they were being chased, which you find out later was by Consec, right? And so they get him. They trank him, they get him, they take him to
a weird cafeteria room thing.
Right, but see, that's the thing that was like the thing that was confusing me, because I'm like, Dr. Ruth wasn't a bad guy,
or was he?
I still don't know. Like,
well, and I was going to get to it later, but it's brought up now. For a very long time, I will say that he was on my scorecard. And he might still be, I don't really remember. Right. But he just, the whole movie, he gave me this unsettling feeling of you're not quite good.
Yeah.
There's something about you that is not quite up to scuff.
Well, that's the thing that I was talking about too. Like me not knowing what the hell was going on until halfway through the movie.
Sure.
Where I'm like, so is this guy the bad guy or is this guy the good guy? I'm like, is Ironside really, like, who's actually, like, I get the idea of like, one's this, one's that, but I'm like, what side of the coin do each of them fall? Like, it
gave me kind of, as I was thinking about it afterwards, it gave me kind of X-Men vibes. Whereas Ironside is like the Magneto. And
Vale is very much a Professor X.
Yeah.
Except for Professor X has more character.
Sure.
Like, yeah,
He's been around longer.
Well, he may have been around longer, but
And he was played by Patrick Stewart, so that's always
fair enough.
That always helps.
That does help.
So he gets tied to this bed, and then this herd of people sit in all these chairs staring at him.
He's
for
being
hours.
observed almost like it's a public execution.
Yeah.
Except for he's not getting killed.
He's just
killing us with his boringness.
Well, I wasn't sure, like, are these people that work for the company?
I don't know.
Are they a bunch of randos? And if they're randos, why aren't they raising any eyebrows to this man tied to a bed?
Right, and see, that's the thing. Like, I almost got, like, investor vibes. Like, but see, that's the thing, is, like, I don't think it was ever really fleshed out. So, like, at the same time, you need to change your calendar. It's not March anymore. I'm sorry, I looked over and I'm like, yeah, it's there's a nice flow into it too.
Squirrel.
Right. Hi. It never really told you, but I kind of felt like I didn't know if they were trying to get like a demonstration, like these people were wealthy, like they're trying to like weaponize it. I kind of wrote it down later on, but I guess I could talk about it now. It kind of gave me like Weapon X vibes.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I did get that later on as well, but I'm like, are they trying to weaponize him? And I mean, you do find out that they're trying to harness it.
Yeah.
To go
essentially,
it,
yes.
But I'm like, it really kind of did make me, it was another X-Men parallel.
Yeah.
But it kind of gave me Weapon X vibes. But yeah, he's being observed by a group of people. I'm still not sure what the hell's going on. That was the next thing I wrote down.
Yeah.
But then, like, I did write down that the practical effects were really awesome. I just don't, if you want to lead into, I didn't write, like, what happened after the, like, observation.
Yeah.
Because I wrote down special effects, but I didn't write it down for what.
Oh.
And so I didn't know if I'm like, what am I forgetting? Like, what was the decent effect? Was it like...
Well, it was... Because after this, my next note is, does anyone want to volunteer for a headache or a stomach cramp? Because then it goes to Ironside's demonstration with the bald dude who's a scanner.
That was like, didn't his face start to like bubble up? And that was...
And then
okay,
his head
so that
explodes.
was... Because the next thing I wrote, scanners can make you do things / blow your head off.
Yes. Which, I knew that. Who didn't know that?
Right.
I just love that the guy... is like, hey, I'm going to do this thing to one of you, and it's going to do all those horrible things, give you a headache, you get stomach cramps, you'll feel sick. Who wants to volunteer? Like, who's saying yes? Like, I don't want that ever. I don't care what your cool power is. Like, if I feel sick, I don't want to feel sick.
Nobody does.
No, I don't want that at all. Like, what's the good thing that would come out of this?
Right, and like, I mean, I can handle, I don't get sick often. I can deal with that. If there's headaches involved, I will automatically opt out.
Me too.
Headaches are headaches are the one things I do not deal with well, and I get them all the time.
I don't get them that often. I was just thinking about that today.
Well, I haven't been getting them as much lately, but I'm also not drinking as much like Rock Stars and Red Bulls and stuff, and that's what gets me is the withdrawals. But yeah, so the practical effects of all that, like, it was awesome.
It really was. And I mean, we were talking about it at the top of the show and how they kind of pulled that shit off in the Boobs and Bobs.
Oh, Boobs and Bobs or Bobs and Bits?
Bobs and Bits. I couldn't remember the other word.
You're thinking about Harlots again.
Yeah. That was upstairs.
But no, is this the practical effect where his face starts to kind of blister up and then shoot the blood's little...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how many... I'm trying to remember how many heads exploded, but...
Well, after this, several.
Okay, yeah.
But... yeah, this was like the first...
It was like the slow, dramatic head blow up, too. Yeah. And so it's like, yeah.
And you see him like screaming and shit. And I put scanning as unpleasant for everyone.
Right. And because I was talking, like, I thought about how creepy young Ironside looks.
Yeah.
Like, it is a very creepy... it's kind of like a crazy intimidation. Like, he's
got that Jack Nicholson Shining thing going on.
But, like, the thing that cracked me up was the scanner sound effect. Like, the noise that plays when it's, like, it's letting you know that somebody's scanning. That, like, that noise that's being played.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can hear it in my fucking head still.
Well, it stayed with you, and that's a good thing.
Right. I'm being scanned right now.
I have powers.
Yeah.
You just don't know about it. Well, I like that because I wrote these notes a long time ago, and I kind of forgot what the whole deal of the movie was, like the scanner, V-scanner, and all that. So I wasn't sure really what the hell was going on. So when it was revealed that Ironside was a scanner, that was a pretty cool reveal to me. I was like, oh, I get it now. Like
exactly.
I thought that Ironside was just fighting back when he was being scanned.
Right.
And he was just smart enough to make the head go boom. But having it be like a scanner v scanner duel, and the bald dude lost big time.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it did start to click at a point where it's like, okay, it wasn't this point for me yet, but like I get what you mean, and so I put down the scanner effect, but I don't remember what happened after that part.
So that when they're still in the meeting hall thing, they realize Ironside is a scanner, and they chase him down and trank him. Well, they think they do, but he scanners the guy with the needle and makes him trank himself.
Right, okay.
And then we get to one of my favorite parts, which is the kind of high-speed chase thing.
Because that's what I wanted to get to, was like, I'm like, I wrote down, I love car chases, and then when cars explode on initial contact.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm trying to think, and I wanted to say that, I'm like, how did we get to that point? Like, I'm still...
Yeah, so they have Ironside in the car, and they're, I'm assuming, taking him to Consec.
Right.
And, of course, he wasn't actually tranked, so he comes to and starts scannering everybody. My first part is cargo boom, and I don't think
Cargo boom.
you can get him out of that. Because after the car crashes and explodes spontaneously, because that's just what cars did in the 80s, everybody rushes out of their cars to try and save him, but the car is like this big inferno.
Right.
It's like, you're probably like, I think he's gone.
Yeah,
like, I think everyone in that car...
There's no hope for
you now. Let's just write them off. I think they're fine. And then Ironside kills everybody.
Right.
And it's fucking amazing.
Yeah. It was really cool.
Well, we'll get to it a little later, I suppose. I have it in my notes, but it's like the powers of a scanner seem to alter with whatever they feel the need for them to be able to do.
At that point in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it gets more so later.
That was one of the things, like, because I was talking to you earlier today, and I'm like, dude, I mean, like, I'm trying to remember this movie. I just watched it on Sunday.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, right? And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? What happened? And so
that's why I try and be as deep, especially on a movie I haven't seen.
I'm still getting better with taking notes, because I'm like writing down things. I'm writing down my thoughts.
Yeah.
But like
without any connective tissue.
Pretty
so
much.
You know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, and so there's a few times, like with this next one, I'm like, oh, cool. So how do we get from that to the Ironside's crazy film session?
Oh, you're a little ways ahead.
That's what I mean. Like, how did we get there? Because then I'm like, scanner program. I'm like,
well,
I'll fill us in.
Because there's some stuff in him killing everybody that's awesome. Like, he makes the guy shoot himself. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that's freaking awesome. Like, I want to talk up the scene more, but I don't know what all else to say.
Yeah, go for it. Because this might have been a part where I had to get up
to pee,
or that, or my daughter, or something. I'll blame it on her always.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, he gets into the head of the front car, or no, the back car, and makes it speed ahead, and then crash, and then it explodes. They get out,
right,
to check on them, even though they're ablaze.
Yeah,
and then Ironside scanners the guy, and I think makes him shoot the guy.
Yeah, the other guy. Yeah, okay.
The other guy, and then makes him shoot himself.
Right.
And that was awesome.
That was really cool. I do remember that now, because they were out. That was outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, that was really cool, because I'm trying to think about it, and I'm like, oh yeah, he did fucking like Jedi mind tricked them into fucking killing them. So
Yeah, I mean, it was super fucking cool. That's where I was like, Ironside, aside from being Ironside, is a badass.
Yeah, kind of an underrated badass because like you don't think about him on the list of badasses.
No, but every time you see him
Like,
or hear him talk,
he's a
he's a
badass.
badass.
Yeah.
He's just fucking cool. He's in everything, and he's always cool.
Starship Troopers.
Avengers?
Starship Troopers.
Avengers.
Was he?
Yeah. He's on the Security Council. He's the head of the Security Council, and you don't see his face that much, but you hear the voice, and then he shows up later on in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Awesome. So he's Starship Troopers as well.
Yeah.
I'll just say that because that's one of my favorite movies. Like,
that's fine. So that
is it? Huh?
So then they decide to use a scanner to catch a scanner, and that's where we get.
Want you have a seat? Yeah, have a seat over there, please.
Yeah. Why don't you watch this informative video, and we'll get you all about it.
Right.
Well, the crazy, seeing Ironside be nuts on tape.
That was so fucking
cool.
awesome.
And he pulled an X-Men 2, because in X2, Brian Cox's wife drilled a hole in her head because their kid was fucking with their brain so much.
Right.
And in this, Ironside apparently took a drill to his forehead.
Right, yeah, he did. And then fucking covered it up with a piece of tape with an eye drawn on it.
That was
And then
nuts.
started calling it like a door
Yeah.
and shit like that. I'm like, okay,
that was
this
so
was
cool.
so fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And like, the way that he looked in that, like, I'm like, I could see this dude playing the Joker in 1981.
Yeah.
Like
if he was as big as Nicholson, he could
have
totally,
been,
yeah.
Or like if the Joker movie that's coming out this year,
was made in 81.
He could have done a Joaquin version.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh man, but yeah, he definitely pulled off crazy real well.
Especially in those videos.
Yeah, those were so. God, I'm just thinking about like the looks he's making and the things he's saying. I'm like, oh, yeah.
He's a little cheesed off his cracker.
Yeah, he is.
But then we find out that he's building a scanner army.
Right. I wrote down scanner master list.
The knock list.
Yeah, right.
The infamous Mission Impossible knock list.
Oh, God.
That anybody can find on any hard drive just because it's there. Right. And then they put it on YouTube for reasons.
Right. I like how many fucking mini tangents we're going off on. We're talking about this. We're talking about Mission Impossible. We're talking about Avengers and Starship Troopers and John Carpenter.
It's all relative. Everything,
Everything is relative.
That's exactly. We watch a lot of crap. So then I have
Scanner Master list. I don't know why I wrote down weaponizing again. Like, was I on a?
Well, I put down
game?
the psychic gymnasium.
Okay.
Because he puts. I'm trying to remember the scene now. Mm-hmm. But he sent. Oh, that's right. He sits him down with the Master Miyagi dude, and is like, "Hey, scan this guy and make him have heart palpitations."
Oh, and he does it, and he doesn't stop, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're freaking out and like, "Oh my god!" Like, stop, and then he does.
That was a veil.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, this guy's the good guy or is this guy the bad guy? Because he looked like he was having fun doing that.
Yeah. It was like, oh, I'm going to make this guy almost die. Isn't this cool?
Yeah, look what I can do.
I was eating fries off of some stranger's plate like yesterday.
Right.
And now I'm making a guy die. Mm-hmm. Cool week. Cool week.
Best week ever, bro.
I'm so going to YouTube this later.
You're right.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Snapchat.
You're such a fucking nerd. You're all like, let's just do Snapchat. But yeah, dude, that was like, and that was part of the, like, another part of the reason why I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I thought, like, every time I start to think one guy is a bad guy and the other guy's a good guy, something like this happens. And I'm like, well, maybe the reason why Revik or Ironside is doing what he's doing is because Vale's like, realizing his potential of being not a good guy, and then I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Everyone's bad. Everything's scanner.
Yeah, everybody's just a bad guy in this movie, and I'm like, and that's why I think I'll give it a little bit of time, but I'm definitely gonna watch it again. And
well, I think it makes it more unsettling a little bit because it's like, okay, if people had this power, how horrifying is that in real life?
Oh, that would fucking suck. Especially nowadays.
Yeah, like everybody that gets pissed off about everything for whatever reason, and they're a scanner.
Yeah, we had that happen today. I'll tell you about it later.
Oh, cool.
I'm glad that he wasn't a scanner. Let's just say that.
Fun times.
Right.
What I did like about this is how they explained telepathy, and this happened in the Miyagi session. And they said that telepathy links the nervous system, but it's not actually mind reading. I thought that was a really cool, clever, scientific way of explaining how telepathy works without saying, "Oh, I'm just reading your mind."
Right, and making me realize how much I didn't listen to the dialogue in
Yeah,
this
you
movie.
really should. It really helps.
I'm like watching this movie on mute, apparently.
Eating Cheetos and going to the bathroom every 5 minutes.
No,
it was.
I was eating Cheetos. No, I wasn't.
You know how I knew? Scanner.
Oh, shut up. What kind were they?
Well, puffs. I mean, those are the best kind.
They are, but that's not. Oh, they were white cheddar baked puffs. Okay, you're zoning in. Get out.
But it's such a cool idea, and I love when a movie finds a new twist, even though this is a super old movie, a new twist to explain something like that. To be like, okay, well, it's not that I just have superpowers and I can read your mind.
Right.
It's our nervous systems are linking because I have this ability, and therefore I can read your mind. And it also helps explain how they make him do things. Like
Right.
Ironside making the guy shoot himself. It's your nervous system is linked to his, and he's making you do that.
Yeah, no, it is super awesome, and I agree. I love it when you can take like what is like a known concept or a known idea, and then find a different way to, either explain it or put it into different terms where it's like, oh, that's a whole different idea, and yeah, that's super awesome.
Your next thing or mine?
No, I just wrote down that I really dug the art display.
See, I put creepy art show.
I wrote down interesting. Because I'm like,
I found it frightening.
yeah, I'm trying to remember back on the majority of it. It was really weird with like all the strings going out, like or whatever.
And there were like mannequins in different horrible positions with weaponry and shit.
Yeah,
and
I think I might have wrote interesting in a sarcastic way.
Or you're just sick.
Oh, okay, we're not there yet.
Okay.
But yeah, so yeah, you have the art display. You have everybody show up with shotguns. Or is this after? Oh, this is when they lead. Okay, so they're going through the art, and they're kind of showing you every different thing, and then there's some dialogue that I don't remember. Surprise. And then what I wrote. So when they end up in the back room, like down in the areas when everybody starts to swarm. But you got anything leading into that?
No.
Yeah.
Just that there's scanners everywhere.
There are, and I said that they're horrible shots and they take really bad angles.
You're way ahead.
Did I jump ahead again?
Yeah,
God.
big time. Oh, okay. I know where. Wow.
Well, get us to that point. I'm sorry. I mean,
We got like half a movie before we get to that point. Because this is where he first meets the lady. I don't remember
Kim.
her name. Kim.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where.
Okay.
Are you talking about the creepy dude that gets killed when he's looking for?
I don't. Yeah. Why don't you just? I mean, it is your movie, so I'll let you do the majority of the talking, and I'll just play off you until we get to Vale's mass scanning.
Yeah. So it's Are you thinking of Benjamin Pierce when he finds that dude?
No, because that's a cabin, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking of. No, because
There could be a part of this I don't remember. That's certainly possible.
well, no, because like everybody pops in, like they swarm, and they're shooting at them, but they're missing everybody and like hitting other mannequins and shit.
Yeah.
And they're shooting.
No, yeah.
I think one gets shot, but I'm like, they're not. I'm like, these guys are making really bad. They're not like they can't aim for shit. I'm like, it's a shotgun. How are you missing?
Just get in the general direction and pull, and you get at least something.
Yeah, there's gotta be. I mean, like people done more with less. Like, what do you like? What the fuck is going on?
It's the 80s. Nobody knew how to aim. Just look at Star Wars and the Stormtroopers.
Poor Stormtroopers.
We're going to cover everything. It's all relative. It's all good. Well, because right after the art show, I have Benjamin Pierce.
He does.
And he gets shot a lot. And then he gives everybody and then the other guy gives everybody a seizure. Because he's trying to find Pierce to get answers.
Well, I might be thinking, because I do remember the guy.
You didn't skip ahead as far as I thought you did.
Okay, because I do remember, like, that guy kept getting shot. And he didn't go down. He's like, oh.
That was, like, that's like, shot him in the shoulder, shot him in the leg, shot him in the this, shot him in the...
I wrote down bad angles, because, okay, it was him. Because when he gets shot in the back from the side, the back pops out like he got shot from up above going down.
Huh.
So it's like, if I were to shoot you in your shoulder, it would go through your shoulder, not the top of your shoulder. You know what I mean? And so I was like, that was like he was
angles.
Yeah, he was on the side, and then his back got shot out. And I'm like, huh? What are you doing?
And then he gets to the scanner house, and that's when they do the group scan and then the raid.
Okay, yeah. Well, that group scan, if that's the part where Vale's doing it, was goddamn stupid. And the reason why I did that, because I didn't like how Vale had to, like, accentuate his looks in different directions. Like, you knew he was going to hit somebody else, and he's like, boom, like, I'm going this way, or boom, I'm going that way.
I think that was I feel like that was at the barn.
It could have been at the barn. I mean, you obviously are, recalling the movie better than I am, so we'll go with that.
Okay, I could very easily be wrong.
You could be,
because that
are,
happens.
But it's either
sure.
way. But
that's
no,
different things.
But no, like that thing bugged. That was like it bugged me so bad because I'm like,
yeah, I do remember that. I don't remember which scene exactly it was, but yeah, that was a bit 80s for me.
I can't wait. You're like, I'll run into you at work tomorrow, and I'll look at you and be like, hey.
And I'll seize on my tugger and
your
fall
fucking
down.
Your inventory mates will look at you like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And I'll look over and I'm like, my fucking head shaking. Be like, listen to the podcast.
My problem with that, the raid, is that these people can read minds.
And have shotguns.
Sure. Man, you're just obsessed with the shotguns.
Not as much as Cronenberg was in this movie.
How do they not realize these people are coming? Do they have to focus?
Well, I don't know. But see, at one point they did, because they're like, they looked outside and saw them coming. Like, they knew they were coming, but they didn't really
do anything about it.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I missed that part.
Well, no, because they look out the window and they show the three of them walking up to the barn. And it's like, he's like, they're coming.
Well, no, I'm at the seance part where they're all in the big circle. That's because that's what's next, is they get to the house with all the scanners.
Right.
And then they get raided again.
Yeah, my notes are really bad for this movie, guys. I'm sorry.
That's why I'm here.
I know it. And I'll give it to you this time.
Thank you.
Because I wrote down mass scanning, and I hate the way that Vale moves his head. It's cheesy as hell.
I think that might be the barn, because that's what I was thinking.
That is, and then I said scanning together. So they're doing doing the scanning together.
That's the scanner house.
Yeah, and everybody gets. And then I said scanning together. Then they all get shot with fucking shotguns.
Yeah, like hardcore.
Yeah, they all get blown
except for
up.
the main cast, of course, because they need to survive.
Yeah, and then I said everybody has shotguns in this movie.
And then they can also light people on fire.
Yeah.
Which is super cool.
It really is.
But.
And then I said, the next thing I wrote was, I don't know if I'm tired, but I have no idea who is the good or bad guys right now.
That sounds about right.
Right. And so, you lead up until we get to Revik.
Okay. So essentially the scanner house happens, the raid happens, they light people on fire because that's a new thing they can do. And then...
There's no limit to what they can do.
That's kind of what I'm putting together. And then there's the car chase with the van, and I put bringing guns to a van fight.
Yeah.
Because it's two vans. Like, it's like two soccer moms doing a street race.
Get back here, Brenda! Shut up, Karen! Fuck you!
Should have brought more orange slices.
I'm gonna run you off the road, bitch. God.
Oh, Mercy.
Bringing guns
Then I
to
have
the
one.
band.
You're not going to remember this, but I have, is that a giant gun in your pants, or are you just creepy? And I'm trying to remember the giant gun. Oh, that's like oh, that's right. What's his face? The main guy. I'm terrible with names in this one.
Vale?
Vale. I got to think Vicky Vale, and then I got to think.
Of course, you're like, here, wait till he starts to take a drink. Say something stupid.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Vale, if I remember right, takes out this enormous gun.
Okay.
Maybe it wasn't Vale. I don't know. Someone takes. Oh no. Oh no.
You're like, I'll get there eventually.
I will get there eventually. When Vale and the girl are hiding in that like basement, and they send in that assassin guy
Right.
after them. I think this is after the van. So they crash the van, they get out of the van, and they run into like the basement area.
Right.
And the dude has just this enormous fucking sniper rifle gun thing that he pulls out of his pants or jacket that has no earthly business being there and not being noticed. Or him being able to sit down comfortably without, making a scene.
Yeah. I know. I was trying to look and see if I can, like, figure it out or look it up. And it, like, brought up a bunch of dumb shit. So, yeah, I give up.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Because then I have ambushing scanners is only 50% effective. Because
God damn it.
the raid worked
Right.
in the scanner house, but Vale immediately realizes that the sniper is there out of nowhere and takes him out.
Right. I got you. But isn't it Kim the one that lights everybody on fire?
Probably. Let's say yes.
Okay.
I don't remember. Let's say yes.
I don't either because I'm really
I just
shitty
remember
with notes in
everyone.
this movie.
And I can't remember everything, Brandon.
Right? You know what? I'm
That's
trying.
why.
Okay? It's been a long fucking day, and I'm tired of your shit. I'm just
Well, that's too bad. We still got like half a movie to go.
right. But then I wrote Revik as the bad guy. Like, I finally came to the realization.
I get it now.
You like,
he's the bad guy.
It escalated quickly because they captured Kim.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Brayden is interrogating her, and this is where they get back to their compound, the consec or wherever it's at, because they're there, but so is Dr. Ruth.
Yeah.
And so is Vale. Like, they're all in the same place at the same time, just in different rooms, and I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are searching for each other, but you're literally, like, right there. Like, what the...
You all work for the same company.
Yeah,
you just
like...
needed to go down 2 floors.
I'm gonna go get that fucker in accounting.
Stole my bagel.
Right? But, so, yeah, I put down we figure that out, but what do you got leading into the guy interrogating her?
So they go to Revik's facility. I don't remember how they figure it out, but there's this company that Revik took over.
It's God damn it, I don't remember what it's called. It's but the logo, it was white and blue, and it looked like a beaker or some shit like that. And it was on the little ephemeral.
Yeah.
I think is what it's called. And
it is.
they were able to trace it back to that
Facility.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
ephemeral, which we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah, it's a suppressant.
Yeah, it's supposedly a suppressant in the...
And that's another thing that was brought up. So it's like they use it for Vale to keep him in check because he's like so powerful and it helps with his pain.
Yeah.
But like, wouldn't it dull his ability to do some things as well? Like,
yeah, it does.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because like I said, I watched a couple of videos before I came over, and I'm like, please refresh me on what happened with this movie because I've just been out of it this week, and apparently even more so when I was taking notes for this movie. So, guys, I apologize for those that have made it this far.
But he's a big jerk, and I'm here to save us, which we're screwed.
So
they get into the facility incredibly quickly.
They do.
And easily, which I thought was a bit strange. But fine, they need to connect some plot points, and I'm cool with moving on.
Right.
And then I have fake needles and ephemeral, and I don't remember what fake needles was.
I don't know if it's a fake needle, but wasn't somebody gonna like get somebody with it and they scanned it around and didn't do the...
I don't know.
That'd be like if I was going to like inject some into you and you scanned it to where I wasn't going to and I did it to myself or something.
Well, that's what Ironside did when they first captured him.
Okay. I remember that happened at some point. I just don't remember where it was at.
Fair enough. And then we learned that scanners can also scan computers. Because they have to.
What can't they? Yeah, what can't...
That's my only issue with this movie. Is that it's like, do you ever see the Futurama episode where Fry makes that comic book?
No.
And he makes a comic and he makes himself a superhero to save Leela. Mm-hmm. And every situation he comes up with, he just comes up with a counter power for a superhero to have to easily beat that problem. It's like, an asteroid's coming. Well, I have anti-asteroid powers. Boom.
I get it. Yeah, that makes... God damn it. That makes sense.
That's my only issue. Otherwise, I love this movie. But
was that when they were activating the right program?
Yeah.
Okay, so before that, I did write down, because this was a changing point for my scorecard, was when they were interrogating Kim, because they had her captured there. The guy was in the room, and they were trying to get her, but like the dude, like straight up, like smacked her. Like he knocked her down.
My note is Kim gets creepy interrogated.
Yeah.
Like
I wrote
super
down like
weird
that
about
escalated
it.
quickly. I'm like, he smacked the shit out of her.
Yeah.
But she still got him. Like she ended up getting him at the end of it.
That's fake needles. They
You're welcome.
Well, no, I think this goes to your point of that you thought someone had to poke themselves instead, because I'm trying to remember. I think it was because after Kim and I think Vale were captured, they wanted to ephemeral Kim, but Ruth didn't do it.
Okay.
And that's why she still had her powers when she was interrogated by what's-his-face?
Braden Dickhead.
Oh, that's just a terrible name, especially if you had an N.
I get it. And I hate you for it.
Good.
But yeah, so they're able to, scan through the phone while he's accessing the program, trying to like download it, figure out blah blah blah. But then they come up with the genius counterpoint to be like, we can self-destruct the system while he's doing it.
Yeah. When you're getting ahead again.
Well, no, that's during
the interrogation.
No, because we had got down to the point where you're talking about where he was able to scan computers, and he was doing that over the phone.
Right, that's their plan, though. I guess we haven't got to the point where they're actually doing it.
I thought that you were talking about where they're doing it. Okay,
yeah, yeah.
We'll get us to that point then. Get us to the point then.
I might try to. So Dr. Ruth has this creepy inner monologue where he's like speaking out loud and talking gibberish, and then he just sits in that room and gets killed by the other guy.
Yeah, right.
It's so strange.
It really is. Like, that's this movie, though, man, because like I feel like this movie 100% just went right over my head. Like, I know I'm not the smartest guy.
Sure.
I can admit that. And I know you're not either.
Well,
and I'll admit that.
Thank you.
But like, the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, did I even watch this goddamn movie? Like, are we talking about the same movie? Like, what the fuck? I'm like,
I think we're connecting enough dots.
Like, everything I
there.
did for this movie makes, like, I can't even connect my own dots. Like, my notes started out detailed, and then they get smaller and more brief as we get towards the bottom.
And then it just says Cheetos over and over again. I'm not sure why. It's really strange.
It's like 3 words, 4 words, 3 words, 2 words. Giggity. But yeah, so go ahead and get us up to the actual
computers.
Point. Yeah, because they.
Well, that's my next thing is that old computers make my head hurt because the way I don't understand computers in general. I'm pretty dumb. Brandon admitted that for me earlier.
Yeah,
but
is funny because I'm pretty good with computers actually. So.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, so you explain to me.
I don't want to.
How?
I'm good. I'm too tired to right now.
how they were cracking the system and also preventing them from cracking the system just by typing the same thing.
Scanners did.
Okay. That I didn't think of that, and that's fine.
You're like,
but just
in no
like
way
all
did
the
I think about scanners.
It's just all these green dots, and then he types random letters that appear in the middle, and that's supposed to have done something.
Enhance. But yeah, so yeah, he does, like, he tries to scan through the phone. I'm going back to my original point. But they're like, okay, so, like, oh, they came up with they're like geniuses, like, we fucking got it. We'll self-destruct it while he's on the phone. And
trying to scan our computers.
Yeah, and then we'll, try to take him out. But they're like, but if we do this, we'll lose everything.
Mm-hmm.
And,
and this is where I have my Mission Impossible reference, because it says knock less, always get out.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Nothing is safe.
No, never make a list of people with anything.
Right.
Because that's just going to get out. The bad guy's going to get it. I love that. So the self-destruct is initiated, and even the gas station and the phone booth get it. Like, everything just blows up. Right. Out of nowhere.
Yeah. Well, everything blows up on contact.
Well, I know. But the gas station was just sitting there minding its own business, and even it blew up.
I'm just a gas station chilling. But yeah, so I'm trying to think of where he was at when so he was on the phone, and then Kim was in an office. They go to a doctor after that.
Oh, we're not there yet.
Okay.
Well, we're almost there.
Right.
Because
like I said, guys, next episode will be better. I promise. My notes will be better.
I hope so, because it's your movie.
Well, no, I don't want it to seem like I phoned it in on this one, because I really watched the movie and I really tried. I'm just stupid.
We understand.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing I have before they get to the doctor's office
is
like,
I had one thing, but you made it sound like there was like 14 bullet points before we get to that point.
No. Is that Keller, the creepy dude that Ironside keeps meeting with.
I thought that was Braden.
Well, Keller is his last name, I think.
You could be right.
I think I am. Well, that's the name that I wrote down was Keller,
okay.
But he's killed by computers.
Well, and the funny thing is like, if his name was Keller, why didn't I just do that? Because
I don't know why. Well, because it sounds a little like your name, and you thought you could be a movie guy.
Sorry, I was just looking up Michael Ironside, and it says he's known for Starship Trooper. So let me click on this real quick and
that's
see
fine.
What it is Braden Keller.
So we're both right.
Right.
Yet both wrong. I don't even know how that works.
Right. No, I really just wanted to point out that, like, what Michael Ironside was known for.
Avengers.
False. I'm going to take a picture of it and post it with, like, picture notes. Like, when we post it, it'll be like Michael Ironside, actor, Starship Troopers, 1997.
So in scanning the computers,
cross out Avengers in his IMDb list. Like, he wasn't in there.
In scanning the computers, they find the name of a doctor that is supposedly has something to do with the ephemeral and the company.
Right, because they're trying to track all that down.
Right, and that's when they get to the doctor's office and we learn about scanner babies.
Right, yeah, I wrote unborn, and that's why I was like, how do we get to unborn scanning? Because, like,
I put scanner babies like Muppet babies.
Oh, yeah, of course you did. But yeah, so, like, she's sitting in there and, like, she's like, I was getting scanned, and she's looking at this woman, and I didn't realize that the woman was pregnant right away.
That's nice. You just saw a person.
I did, because I'm
you
not an
didn't see
asshole.
their affliction. That's good.
Wow. How dare you?
I don't know.
Apologize to the mothers.
I'm sorry. You didn't.
Moving on.
I don't know. I noticed it immediately, but that's just, we've proven already that I'm more observant in this movie than you are.
Yeah, because I just see people for who they are, not what they have.
Sure. That's fine. What do I have? Stupid co-host. So they zoom in on the pregnant belly, and it's even more obvious, even to Brandon, that the baby is scanning people and scanning her.
Right, and weren't they talking about? Didn't they bring up at some point like that baby would be like a super powerful scanner when it's born?
Maybe.
Well,
that's not ringing any bells.
You're smarter than me, so that's
I know that's true.
False.
So it's revealed that Ephemeral is creating scanners, and this doctor is injecting mothers with it to create more scanners.
Right. For Scanner Army.
Right. Whether that's Dr. Ruth's army or Ironside's army or a little of both.
Or somebody. It's
Somebody
somebody's
wants
army.
armies.
We're just not quite sure.
I'm pretty sure it's Ironside because
Right.
Ruth is dead by now.
Yeah, Ruth is dead, and you wouldn't notice.
Oh no, he doesn't. He's not. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I screwed up in my notes.
I'm sorry, what?
In reading my notes, I screwed up my brain and thought that Ruth was still alive, but because my next thing is Ironside captures period Ruth, he is our father.
Yeah, and that's why I wrote down next was the brother reveal.
Yeah.
And I'm like
I was trying to do a Star Wars poll.
yeah, and you fucking ruined your
I
own,
did.
guys.
Yeah, that was my best joke in my notes and I ruined it.
It was like it only took six episodes to get to a point where Justin fucked up his own giant punchline. Like it's like I'm sorry for those that like listen
To our
and
shows.
expect. Yeah, there's not a lot, but there are a few that like listen every week, being like, "What stupid shit is Justin gonna say this week?" Because I know I look forward to it.
Yeah.
And
I ruined it this time. I had a couple earlier.
Yeah, no, you
But
didn't.
This was
but
the big one, and I screwed it up.
Can you reread it?
Well, so Ironside captures Vale and
Right.
what's her face.
Yeah.
And the big reveal is Ruth. He is our father, like Star Wars.
Yeah, I get that, and
that's
yeah,
that was the joke.
that would have been better. But you're right.
I know
sucked.
it's over. We're
But yeah,
moving
so
on.
there's the brother reveal, and then of course, anytime that you have a bad guy, there's a monologue reveal of like what the master plan is of what he's gonna do. I don't remember what it was, but I know that he was gonna do something.
Essentially, it wasn't Ruth
worst.
creating the scanner army. It was Ironside creating the scanner army, and it's revealed as always that Life magazine had something to do with it.
Jesus.
It is.
Oh,
They
yeah,
ran
no,
an ad for the ephemeral and, did the whole thing. That's.
Oh my god.
But then we get to the scanner showdown, and the scanner showdown was amazing.
I wrote down scanner fight. And the thing that cracks me up too, because like it's almost like that episode of South Park where they're having the psychic fight.
Yeah.
And Cartman's like, like I can't do it, but like that's what it reminded me of, and I'm like, yes.
See, I put that Cam has Dragon Ball hands. 'Cause he
God damn it! I almost spit up. There we go. There's the one dumb thing that choked me up this time.
I knew I'd get you. Well, it does. He just he holds out his hands. Like I don't even watch Dragon Ball, but it immediately made me think of. I have the power.
Right. But yeah, so they fight, and it is insane. Like it gets to the scene where Ironside goes wide eye.
Yeah.
And like he's standing there rigid, and it's like what you see from the cover art. But the cover art actually looks cooler than what it looks like in the movie.
But it's still cool.
But it is super cool.
Because he has the crazy ass vein thing up the side of his face.
Yeah.
And then Vale, he's like bleeding from everywhere. And then he spontaneously
He's
lights
just
on fire.
burnt up. Yeah.
And I was watching that going like, who's winning?
Okay,
bad
he's winning
things.
now. Right?
Like I didn't understand until the end. Like they're both looking very terrible, and I
Right.
guess that's the point.
So now thinking about it, because it was supposed to be that Vale was like the most powerful scanner.
Yeah.
So why did he lose to his brother?
Did he though?
Oh shit, bitch.
I mean,
I get it now.
And also it pulls another X-Men comparison. X-Men 3 when Xavier dies and puts his brain into the comatose guy.
And I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think about that because what I thought, and this is like the note that I wrote, because after the fight's over and then you see the body burnt up on the floor, and what Kim's walking like across and sees it, and then you look in the corner like a fucking weirdo sitting in the corner covered up, and then comes out and like,
Hello.
yeah.
I don't remember what he says.
We've won.
Yeah, that's what he said?
Something like that. I put that in quotations. But like, or he's talking to her, but it sounds like Vale.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, is he... I thought that he was like doing some sort of mind trick, making her think that she saw Vale, but it was really him. But then you saying that he could have put himself into Ironside, that does make a lot of sense. And I didn't even think about that, and it actually makes it a lot cooler.
Yeah. And that's essentially does what Xavier did at the end of X3,
Right.
even though that movie sucks, is that...
Yeah. Oh, God.
Another episode.
Yeah, not on this episode, not on this podcast. We'll save that one for the shitty comic book movie podcast.
So Vale puts because his body was burnt by Ironside.
Right.
And so he couldn't stay in Vale's body. So instead, he one-upped Ironside and essentially erased him. I'm turning into Brandon talking with my hands trying to make a point, and I hit my stupid microphone.
Yep.
And he essentially took over his body.
Right, and see, and that's why I was like, and that makes sense, and that's awesome, but like the idea of him optical, like doing an illusion thing, kind of comes off more sinister. Like it's being like, oh shit, this guy is like, if they did do multiple scanners, didn't they? I think they did a scanners 2 and a 3.
Sure. I don't know.
Well, but I'm just saying, like.
Yeah.
They
did.
I guess it doesn't help not seeing those.
Sure.
But like, okay, it's called Scanners 2: The New Order, and it came out
a week ago.
No. 81 to 91. Okay, so there was 10 years in between.
Was it even Cronenberg that did it?
I doubt it.
I doubt that too.
Dude, it has it's got a 5.2 on IMDb, but it's got a fucking 91% liked it, but it's got a 5.2. I was just looking, there's nobody in this movie that
Ironside's
I
not back.
recognize. No, none of them are back at all. Dude, okay, so it's a sequel with a different cast. It was written by BJ Nelson and directed by Christian Duguay. But it says, picking up where it left off, the sequel has good and evil scanners combating when a crooked politician schemes to gain control over a major city, which of course is in Canada.
Sure, everything's.
But yeah, no. So there's no connection. It completely starts to take a different turn. So I was like, if there's a sequel and it would have explained it. But yeah,
That's how I read it.
Yeah, putting himself into Revik's body makes complete sense. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it does add a cool twist. It's not as scary of like the possibilities, but at the same time,
it's cool in its own way.
Right.
And then we get the super cool 80s-ish computer Matrix style credits at the end, which I thought were really cool.
I thought it was really cool too. I was like, it's clever. It's like you don't see a whole lot, but I definitely did like it. And so, why don't you go ahead and kick us off with your scorecard?
Okay. So the first one, for those that haven't listened before, I'll go over the scorecard again. For every movie that we do, we've created a scorecard with best kill, most wanted to die, most wanted to live, a couple others we'll get to.
Right.
And we each pick our choice for all of those categories for each movie. Mm-hmm. And we try to anyway, have a special category that is... a
little wild card.
Yeah, that's a wild card that is movie specific.
Right.
And we'll get to that at the end.
Right.
So first one, best kill or scare, usually best kill. The demonstration head go boom.
Yeah, and I thought about that too, and I thought about going with that because I thought that was the coolest moment. Mm-hmm. It's the most iconic moment.
Right.
But I also was like, I felt that was, a too easy of a pass to go with that. And so like my best kill, I think it was, I put the Vale versus Revik, the end fight, because how cool it looked when he was doing the whole body morphing thing and then he caught the dude on fire, and I was like, that's pretty fucking rad.
See, and my thing is, not to tip my hand at all or anything, I didn't want to double up on anything. Like, if I picked something for one category, I didn't want it to be in another.
Right, and that was the thing, too, is I went through and I don't have any doubles, thankfully. Yeah. But also, I was, like, trying to go with maybe less, I guess, popular answer.
Well
then, yeah, so...
Well, my ones that might have also been on here fit better for later ones.
That's really weird. So, okay, so who did you want to die?
Keller. It was Ruth for a very long time. Ruth was going to be my most wanted to kill because there was just something about him that made me not trust him and think he was going to do something shady.
Like this weird... He was almost like this... He had this, like this Dr. Loomis naivety. I don't know how to say naivete. Like, he was, like, acting like he was, like, so bewildered and had no idea what was going on. But
he knew exactly what was going on. 100%. And it was all his fault. Well, it was kind of like the doctor in the new Halloween, whose name I'm not going to remember.
Sartre?
Sure. I don't know. I don't know.
Certain.
Okay. I knew you'd get there. I believed in you.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Halloween's my shit.
But don't shit on Halloween.
I'll never shit. Never, man.
It kind of reminded me of that. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen that, but it's been out almost 6 months.
Halloween's been out almost 9 months.
9 months. Almost a year.
It's been a bit. If you haven't seen it, what are you doing?
Last October.
What are you doing?
It's
classic. That's a throwback to anybody that used to listen to Justin's
really
podcast.
Sweet.
You're welcome.
Yeah, he gave me that vibe. Where it's like, you know more than you're letting on.
Right.
And you're going to screw us over.
But see, the funny thing is his motives were eventually fleshed out and Ruth's weren't. And I don't know if that's because he died before they could, but nothing was really fleshed out in this movie character-wise.
Sure. And that's why Ruth was taken off the list and Keller got it, especially with the whole creepy interrogation thing. He just needed to go bye-bye.
Right, and see, the thing was, not to get into too much with who I wanted to live, because I had wrote down Dr. Ruth because I didn't have necessarily the same vibes, and I think the way that he went out made me kind of sympathetic towards him.
Sure.
But then I put in parentheses after that, I said I really wanted Kim to live after Keller fucking face palmed her. Yeah, and I'm like, fuck him.
Yeah.
Now I want her. Now I hope she lives and kicks everybody's ass. What's your grossest moment?
Well, we didn't do Wanted to Live.
Oh, I did. I'm sorry.
Oh, I didn't do mine.
You didn't get yours. Go ahead and do yours.
I need to get mine. Ironside.
You wanted him to live?
because it's fucking Ironside, and he's so cool.
I didn't realize you had such a man crush on Ironside.
I didn't either. But he's just like, it's one of watching this movie is like, God, he's cool.
Yeah, God, this guy is fucking awesome.
Like that was one of the first things I put on my card because as soon as it started, I was like, I don't want this guy to die. He's too cool. And none of the other characters grabbed me enough. Like, I thought Ruth was shady. I thought Vale was kind of boring.
Kind of. That dude was fucking... I lost it. Yeah.
I understand. And yeah, so no one else really grabbed me.
Right.
But Ironside grabbed me in all the
right
ways.
That makes sense. His character was definitely the coolest.
Well, he's the most compelling, and he's the one that, for the most part, I was following the most. As far as wanting to see,
like, he's the one that had the most story to him, though, too. So that definitely helped.
Yeah.
What was your grossest moment?
The showdown, which is why it wasn't in my best killer scare because it was gross. Like, I mean, the blood spurting out of everything, the big vein was gross. It was pretty.
I get it.
It was gross.
And
it was just gross.
What I did for my grossest moment was kind of a toss-up. Because I really liked... Because when the eyes popped, that was at the end fight, right?
Yes.
The eyes burst.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing between that, like, the grossest moment for me would have been that with the OG head bursting.
The demonstration.
Yeah,
one.
so like when the face started to blister up and blood started spurting out, I'm like, that's fucking rad. And so I did have it in my list. I just had it basically ours are flipped.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was definitely the blood blister spurts is what I wrote down, and it's just
gross.
It was pretty cool.
Dumbest moment.
I can't. I hope yours isn't the same as mine.
I don't think it will be. Mine is sneaking up on mind readers. That bugged me.
That's.
It was just, it's one of those little plot holes I'm making a bigger deal out of than it should be. Mm-hmm. But it's like, you read minds. That's your whole thing. Aside from lighting people on fire and other stuff. Like, you should know the raid is coming.
Yeah, it's like...
Still be caught off guard, maybe, because they have shotguns and you don't. But...
Well, yeah, it's like the Spider-Man trailer for the new Spider-Man movie when it shows May throws the banana at him. She's like, you can dodge bullets, but you can't catch a banana. Yeah. Like, that's exactly what it is. Like, you can do this, but you didn't see it coming.
Yeah. Like, we just saw Spider-Man, so...
Well, yeah, if you haven't seen it, highly recommend it.
It's so freaking
highly
great.
Recommend it.
But no spoilers, we promise.
Never.
We'll move on very quickly from this, but they explain why.
Okay.
Kind of. We'll get to it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I get it now.
Yeah, but... Yeah, it is that.
I got it. Okay.
It is that 100%.
My dumbest moment was Vale's... I wrote down Vale's mask scan with the head movements. Like, the way he did it, like, that really fucking bugged me badly. And now it's going to become a thing at work where every time I see you, it's just going to be a fucking head whip. And it's, like, you're like, what's he doing? You're like, he's trying to scan me. It's not working. But yeah, that was the...
Because I outscan the scanner. His head's going to explode.
I'm like... Yeah, that was the worst moment of the movie for me, where I'm like, it took me out so bad. I'm like, this... Not only does he not act at all in some of the other scenes, but this one he put a little too much.
It was like he was cutting back on the acting so he could put it all in this one scene.
I'm charging up for my scan scene, where he's like, I got to put every... That movie is like 98% of his acting ability, and the rest of it's the 2% of the movie. I'm sorry, like, he didn't do bad, it just wasn't, okay.
Well, when you compare him to Ironside...
It's hard to go up against that. I didn't look to see how many movies that guy had been in before or after that movie.
Yeah.
But what did you put down for your best use of scanner power?
Yeah. Which is our special category for this particular movie.
Ding, 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 ding.
Obviously.
Right.
Mine is my favorite scene of the movie, which is Ironside kills in cars. When he kills all the people in his little security group, like when they capture him and they think that he's out, but he's not out. Right. And he makes the guy shoot himself and all that. Like, that was fucking awesome.
Yeah. That was really cool. And it's better than what I use, because it's just not to, inflate your head any more than this already is.
Scanners.
But my favorite was, I really liked when all the shotgunners got caught on fire. Like in the house raid or apartment raid or whatever it was, where they just all burst into flames. I'm like, that's pretty fucking metal. Where like you're getting fucking raided. Like, yeah, just to be like, oh shit, I'm surrounded.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, that was my favorite.
Mine's better, but I like yours. It's still good.
Well, now that we talk about it, I might have to disagree again. But
sure, that you're right. I get that.
It is. And so, but yeah, overall, like, it may not sound like it, but I did like this movie.
Because you were zoned out on Cheetos through half of it.
No, I really wasn't. This whole week's been a blur.
I understand.
Of just Warehouse.
Like, I'll have you listen to The Warehouse by Dave Matthews.
Yeah. Almost 40 hours in 3 days. Sucks ass.
I would think so. I haven't done that.
Yeah.
I work normal shift. I even got out early one day. Yeah, I really enjoed this.
I felt bad for you and all those goddamn lotion bottles you had to take out of the package.
Yeah, that sucked. Anyway, yeah, I with older horror movies, it's kind of a flip of the coin for me as to whether I'll like it, but I actually really enjoyed this.
I did too, and that's the thing. Like, I liked it more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
And you think that would have been enough for me to pay attention to it, but this week was just such a weird, like, it was so weird. Like, that night I was so hyped because it was Sunday. I'm like, okay, I got to work at 5 o'clock in the morning. Like, I got to get this movie in. I sat and I watched it, and then I didn't sleep that night because I'm like, I start my new position tomorrow. And like,
you were thinking about your head exploding.
Yeah, that's just like, there was so much going on. So I really feel like, and I apologize to anybody that like, they're like, oh man, there's a fucking Scanners episode, and they get through it, and they're like, fuck, that sucked. Like, you know,
These
like,
guys are terrible.
God, like, what the hell was that?
I hope we did it justice, because
I don't think we did. I know I didn't.
Well, I know that too, but I'm hoping that I made up for your sucking.
I doubt that you did, but
That's hard to say. We'll let the listeners decide.
Yeah, I'll definitely check out the listen count and be like, oh, crikey.
How do you get negative listens?
Yeah, how does that even happen? Because I myself listen to every episode. And like I think of that as a good thing. Like back when I was trucking, I'd be like, okay, I could start this and I could listen to the entire episode, and like it's not so much like a vanity thing like it would be for you. But like, wow.
That's nice.
Yeah, thanks, bud. But like, yeah, dude, like I'd be able to listen to it. Like the jokes would make me laugh because it's almost like a disconnect from it. It was really weird. But surprisingly enough, dude, like out of all the episodes we've done, Alien is probably, depending on who you'd ask, tied to be the most popular movie picked.
That makes sense.
So Nightmare is Nightmare, but Alien is Alien.
Right.
And Alien has or Nightmare has, I mean, there's a big difference in how long they've been up.
Yeah.
Alien did not do very well, and it's been up for a couple weeks.
That's surprising and sad.
That's what I said. And I was like, God, I'm just hoping, and you guys can let us know, like, if we're going too long, we can definitely trim it. Because like looking at Alien, it's almost 2 hours long, and that can be daunting.
And you know, part of it is the movie, and we talked about that on the episode.
Right.
Is that it's an over 2 hour long movie, like, and there's a lot of shit that goes on.
And I added a bunch of shit
dense
into
movie.
It is really dense, but not to get too dense into this one, we
Sure.
will. I will go ahead and finally reveal my movie for our next episode that was decided 2 hours ago. We are going to do my favorite. And I wasn't going to do this early. And Justin's like, fucking do it.
Get it over.
You know you want to do it. You want to do it. Open that door,
Rip
please.
the Band-Aid off.
I'm going to rip it off. And we're doing fucking Halloween.
Well.
1978.
I just watched this past weekend. So
And you're like, I'm ready to fucking do it again.
Yeah,
and
I
the
am.
thing is like, I almost don't even have to take notes on this movie. Like, we can talk about this movie, and I will do my best not to go 3 hours. But you're
I'll
like,
try and
"Please,
keep you reined in.
you're not going to be able to. But yeah, we're going to do John Carpenter's Halloween. And motherfuck, I can't wait.
So thank you all for listening.
Absolutely. Thank you for bearing with me. I don't care
But at least
about
you don't have
Justin.
to sit in the room with them.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much, Mason, for giving us a pick.
Yeah, and
it makes it easier.
And again, happy birthday.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had a thing, and then you
lost
switched gears on me, and I had a
I
thing
just
going.
want to make sure.
It's all good.
Like,
But
just-
yes, definitely happy birthday, Mason, and thank you again for giving us a pick, because it just helps. I love interaction with listeners. I know he listens. So if any of you out there have a movie you want us to do, let us know. Email us, Facebook, Twitter.
Tweet. You could message us on Instagram, even though there's not many people on there.
You could be one of them.
Yeah, definitely email us, podandgore@gmail.com.
Yeah.
You can hit us up on Instagram or Twitter at gore_pod. You know, we're on Facebook. All you have to do is Google, or not Google, but just,
Go on Facebook and search for Pod and Gore,
and you'll find us. The
So if you
page has
have-
blown up quite a bit lately.
Yeah.
Also, we have an iTunes review.
Sweet.
Oh, I forgot to tell you that. But yeah, and so please let us know. Like,
Yeah, if there's something you want us to do.
it takes a lot of pressure off of me because I'm like, there's so many movies I want to do, but I'm like, I almost went with Tucker and Dale, like I was telling you that, but I'm like, God, I just picked a horror comedy, like episode 3. And I'm like, I really want to fucking talk about a slasher. So let's talk about the slasher.
Yeah.
And so
And I said, just fucking do it
you're
already.
like, please. Like,
And
just
then we
goddamn
can
it,
talk
do it.
about the other ones. Once we get the first one out of the way, then it opens the door, and we
he's
can talk
like,
about the
do
rest.
fucking Halloween so I can do another nightmare, another nightmare movie, please.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's no guarantee that we'll get to it right away because we have movies we want to do. We have stuff, movie reviews Like it's coming soon, and we're gonna do an episode
Midsummer
for that,
came out today as of recording, and it's not coming to where we live, and
which is
am
lame.
pissed about that beyond all belief. Like I'm almost as hyped for that as I was for It Chapter 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we're getting It.
Yeah.
And that might even be at the Orion. But we're like, to not have Midsummer, especially hearing, like Jordan Peele and a lot of these people rave about how good this movie is. I'm like, I'm half tempted to drive to Seattle just to see it.
Well, we might have to.
We might. But we'll get into, we got a new iTunes review. So we are now sitting at 5 stars.
Sweet.
Which is more than we deserve. So thank you. The title of this, it's from Gladiator Helmet Face.
All right.
And
that works.
The title, it's a 5-star. The title is This Podcast Makes Me Hard. And it's not like it's an actual okay. It's an actual review. It's not just like if it was just some trolley saying like this shit gets me going, I'd be like, okay, bud. But
thanks for the 5 stars, bro.
Right. But the review itself is these two are some of the most educated horror buffs I have come across in a while. As a 20-year horror expert in the field, I have not listened to anything this knowledgeable or entertaining in a very long time. I see this as becoming one of the staples in horror casting, and I can't wait to keep listening.
Wow.
So by the name and the title, you would not have guessed.
Not at all.
Thank
that
you very
was like
much.
the most
Gladiator
eloquent.
Helmet Face. Thank you very much.
Glad we'll get you hard.
Yeah, Justin is especially.
Wow.
Yeah. It did.
But thank you very much. That's amazing.
And we did get another YouTube subscriber and comment. So I do believe that we are actually sitting at 14 subscribers on YouTube. And see, this is the thing, is like I don't expect YouTube to be big. I did YouTube especially for a buddy of mine who was actually our first commenter because he doesn't have access to podcasts. And so I pay the fee to upload these through audio ship and all that to get it onto YouTube. Mm-hmm. But we are planning on figuring out how to bring some video content to you to utilize YouTube and have more
of a presence.
Yeah, on there. And so we did get a new subscriber and a comment.
Cool.
And the comment was...
You guys suck at everything. Quit while you're behind.
Peace. Okay, yeah. So it was my buddy Martin.
Stay hard.
It was my buddy Martin over in Denmark. And he just said a wild dragon dropped by. Like, because he's a Twitch friend and his name is Dragonstar, and he's like he would randomly pop in every once in a while, and I'd be like, "Where's this motherfucker been?" And then I'd be like, a wild Dragonstar appeared, and so that's what his comment was. But just to basically let us know that he's like, "Hey,
I'm here,
and I'm wild."
Fair enough.
And so, but again, thank you guys for listening. We appreciate the support.
Keep on keeping on.
Definitely keep on keeping on. Keep an eye out too. I mean, I'm definitely not trying to push certain things, but like we do have the merch store. It does help keep ad free. Like as much as we enjoy doing this, like it does take time, but keep an eye out too, because on Monday we ordered our own shirts, and so he ordered the Reaper logo, I ordered the Knives logo, so we'll actually have some merch to show you and let you know, be like, hey, these are like, don't get these shirts. Like, we're gonna figure something else out. This is not good. Or we'll be like, hey,
these are great. I'm gonna wear it every day.
For $13, this is not bad.
Yeah.
And actually, this will post on Monday, and there's there's like a 4th of July sale that just started, and so now shirts are back down to $13. So TeePublic, like if you go on TeePublic and search Pod and Gore, I'm sure you can find it. But like, they seem to be doing 35% sales like every week.
Yeah.
And so
if you don't see it on sale, just keep checking back.
Yeah, just keep checking out.
You probably will.
Like, it helps spread the word. If everybody that listens to this show, we appreciate that, but let a friend know. Like, if every person told another person, I think that it could help spread the word. Maybe not that we deserve it, but we also haven't had any negative feedback yet either. So so
that's all good.
Anyways, let us know. But yeah, we will see you in 2 weeks for Halloween.
Bye.
Bye.